Hey guys, tonight we're heading into the kind of story that makes you question whether your pillow is secretly committing a crime. Imagine a place where bedtime isn't just sacred, it's regulated, litigated, and enforced. Picture yourself dozing peacefully, wrapped in a soft blanket, only to be woken up by a knock at the door. Not from a neighbor, not from a raccoon, but from a government official holding a clipboard that smells faintly of hay. You've just broken Law 47B, and your furry sleep companion is now considered contraband. Welcome to the state that doesn't allow alpacas in bedrooms. You probably won't survive this. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And drop a comment with your location and local time. I love seeing where and when you're drifting off from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. It starts, of course, with a cabin. You're tired. You've been driving all day, winding through pine forests, dodging deer with questionable road sense, the occasional gas station with 4 brands of jerky but no working bathroom. Finally, you pull off a quiet county road into a gravel path lined with string lights. A sign swings gently in the breeze. Whistlewood Cabins, where rest comes naturally. Your shoulders drop. It looks perfect, small, rustic, and just a bit too quiet. You grab your bag from the trunk, step inside, and immediately get a hit of cedar and cinnamon. The kind of smell that says, yes, this is a place that understands the art of sleep. The fireplace is preset to flicker, the bed is massive, and best of all, there's a throw blanket folded neatly at the foot patterned with soft little alpacas, beige and brown. Smiling, you chuckle. You love alpacas. They're weird and fuzzy and have that perpetual look of judgment that makes you feel both loved and mildly insulted. You wrap the blanket around your shoulders, kick off your shoes, and collapse onto the bed. That's when you notice it. A small card on the nightstand, tucked under a coaster, printed in small italic letters. Notice. This property complies with state regulation 47B. No ungulate co-sleeping permitted. You blink at it. Ungulate? You squint at the throw blanket, then back at the card. Is this about alpacas? You shake your head. Must be some kind of quirky decorative thing. Mountain towns love to invent fake laws for laughs, like don't whistle after dark, or all socks must match the moon. You set the card aside, shrug, pull the alpaca blanket tighter, and sleep. Dreamless at first. But around 2 a.m., something shifts. You wake up not from a sound, but from the lack of one. The heater has stopped. The air is too still. The shadows in the cabin stretch a little too far. You sit up and hear it. A whisper, coming from the blanket itself. At first, you think it's the wind. Then it speaks again, just under your breath. Violation detected. Law 47. B. You are currently in co-sleeping proximity to restricted livestock effigy. Your heart skips. You throw the blanket off. The voice stops. You pick it up again, press your ear to it. Nothing. You lower it. Repeat. You are in breach of bedtime statute. You drop the blanket like it burned you. Nope. You're hallucinating. Too much road trip. Too little hydration. You stand up, shake out your limbs, walk to the tiny cabin kitchenette, and splash your face with cold water. The mirror above the sink is fogged, which is strange. There's no steam. You wipe it away. Words are written on the glass. Alpaca presence confirmed. You bolt back to the bed, grab your phone, no signal. Figures. You reach for your car keys, but they're gone. The nightstand drawer is open now, even though you never touched it. Inside, a single sheet of paper, crisp, official, stamped with a strange emblem, an alpaca in a judge's wig. You read, "Dear guest, we regret to inform you that you have violated Article 47B of the Interspecies Nocturnal Boundaries Act. Effective immediately, your dreams will be placed under regulatory review. Please await collection at dawn. Do not attempt to flee. Doing so may result in hoofprint contamination of memory." You sit down slowly, stare at the blanket. It doesn't move, doesn't whisper, but you swear, just for a moment, you see one of the woven alpacas blink. You don't sleep again that night, not because you're afraid exactly. It's more like your body remembers fear, even if your brain is trying to write it off as mountain weirdness. The kind of unease that comes when a part of your childhood says, "Something's in the room," and for once, the room agrees. You sit at the edge of the bed, blanket balled in the corner, watching it like it might move again. The whispering hasn't returned, but the silence is dense, the kind that feels full, like it's waiting for a signal to collapse in. At 5:03 a.m., there's a knock, not loud, not insistent, just a polite little tap-tap, like someone asking if they may enter your dream through the side door. You don't move. You don't have to. The door opens itself. A man steps in, late 50s, khakis, and a green wool vest, clipboard in one hand, the faint scent of pine needles and something farm-adjacent clinging to him. "Morning," he says gently. "You received your notice, I presume?" You blink at him. Who are you?" "Department of Animal Co-Sleeping Compliance, Regional Field Review." He lifts his badge. It's laminated, official-looking, and entirely absurd. "State of View, Division 4, B, Bedtime Fauna Oversight. Agent, Walter P. Cuddlington." You stare at the name. That's not a real thing." "Neither is sleeping with ungulate effigies," he replies, flipping a page. "Yet here we are." He steps inside. Doesn't ask permission. "Did you knowingly bring an alpaca into your sleeping environment?" "It was a blanket." "Still counts," he says, matter of fact. Regulation 47B, Subclause F. No ungulate-derived imagery, effigies, or cuddly simulacra within 5 feet of a sleeper during REM windows. It's a safety issue. You blink. "Safety?" He nods gravely. "Back in '81, we had a case. Lady fell asleep with a plush llama. Woke up convinced she was a shepherd. Sold her house, moved to Peru. We've been playing catch-up ever since." You open your mouth, close it. He gestures to the nightstand. "I see you found the handbook?" You hadn't, not really. But now that he's mentioned it, there is a strange-looking binder tucked behind the mini-lamp. Beige leather, stamped in gold. "Prohibited Bedtime Companions, a legal reference." You open it slowly. The first page is a table of contents. Introduction to Sleep-Adjacent Livestock Regulation 2. Species chart, warm-blooded to 3. Nocturnal boundary zones, mattress versus floor 4. Exceptions, see Appendix D, emotional alpacas, 5. How to report a violation, page 104. You flip to the chart, alpacas, high risk, proximity equals REM disruption, identity confusion, sudden yarn dependency. Goats, moderate, generally loud, often argumentative during dream sequences. Sheep, low, acceptable within dream herding scenarios. Requires counting permit. You slam the book shut. You can't be serious. You think you're the first? We confiscated 32 alpaca socks from a ski lodge last winter. Whole family was dreaming in Peruvian Spanish by the end of the week. He jots something on the clipboard. Now, as per protocol, I'll need you to come with me. Where? For review, sleep history, companion preference audit, dream residue analysis. You know, the usual. You do not know. But the man is already walking out the door. You grab your shoes, leave the blanket. When you step outside, the air smells different, thinner, more filtered, like someone replaced real life with a mock-up of it. His truck is waiting. Government plate. Clean except for a bumper sticker that reads, "No sheep left behind." You climb in. Inside the cab, a small speaker softly hums elevator music, only instead of instruments, it's all barn noises slowed to a lullaby pace, mooing, bleating, the occasional cluck. "This is insane," you mutter. "Tell that to the guy last month," Walter says. "Brought a live miniature goat into a nap pod. Claimed it was his spirit guide. Took 3 weeks to deprogram." You sit in silence as the truck winds down a road you don't recognize. The trees thin. The road turns gravel, then grass. Finally, you arrive. At a building that looks like a courthouse crossbred with a petting zoo. A faded sign out front. Department of Animal Co-Sleeping, Sector 12 Regional Review Office. Beneath it, Protecting Sleep Integrity. Since 1978, Walter walks you through the doors. Inside, fluorescent lights buzz above wool-lined walls. A receptionist behind a plexiglass divider is brushing a stuffed goat. "Morning, Walter." "Violation 47B. Ungulate effigy proximity." She tuts, reaches for a file. "They never read the signs." He pats your shoulder. "Don't worry. If you're clean, it's just a fine and a pledge. But if your dreams show signs of fuzz hallucination," he leaves it hanging. You try to laugh, but you can't help but wonder. What if they're right? What if the blanket really did say something? And more importantly, what else did it hear? The waiting room feels less like a government facility and more like a very confused preschool for barn animals. There's a rack of outdated magazines titled Dream Digest, a bowl of individually wrapped salt licks labeled "not for humans unless authorized," and a low TV mounted in the corner playing a looping educational video called Understanding Bedtime Boundaries, a guide for new sleep citizens. You sit down in a chair that's somehow both scratchy and overly padded. It lets out a resigned moo as you shift your weight. You freeze. The receptionist doesn't flinch. You suspect this is normal. 10 minutes later, a door opens. "Cuddlington's got you next," the receptionist says without looking up. You rise, stepping through a hallway lit by flickering yellow fluorescents and lined with framed motivational posters. One reads, "Dream clean, sleep green." Another, "Say nay to co-sleeping with livestock." Agent Walter P. Cuddlington waits at the end, standing beside a door labeled Interview Room B, Rim Pattern and Companion Audit. He opens it for you with the same politeness you'd expect from someone handing you a menu at a diner. Inside is a single recliner, an overhead lamp, and a device that looks like a lie detector merged with a butter churn. "Please, recline." You hesitate. "Is it safe?" "Define safe," he says, which doesn't help. Still, you sit. The recliner groans. A small puff of hay-scented air escapes the cushions. Cuddlington adjusts a few knobs on the churn machine, attaches a patch to your temple and a second to your ankle. "We'll be entering a light dream induction, harmless, mostly. Just relax and let the mind drift. The machine will flag any unauthorized barnyard patterns." You try not to laugh. You fail. You're telling me there are illegal dreams? Only the ones that involve unlicensed animal adjacency, he says flatly. You'd be surprised how many people dream about sharing bunk beds with sheep or hot tubs with horses. He presses a button. A low hum fills the room. Close your eyes. You do, and immediately fall backward, not physically, but mentally, like someone cut the rope tethering your thoughts to the room. You fall into a barn, of course, a dream barn, dimly lit, full of soft snoring sounds, hay bales arranged like couches, a mobile made of sheepskin and dream catchers spinning slowly overhead. You walk through it. The air smells like chamomile and oatmeal cookies. There's a sign at the far wall. All sleepers must declare fuzzy companions at entry. You reach into your pocket and pull out the alpaca blanket. It's alive, breathing, blinking at you like it's waiting to be picked up and hugged. You shouldn't be here, it whispers. Neither should you reply. Suddenly, the barn darkens. Wind rushes through. A loud voice bellows from nowhere and everywhere. Alpaca presence confirmed. Initiate REM intervention. You jolt awake, back in the recliner. Cuddlington is frowning, reviewing a printout. Not great. You rub your eyes. What happened? You dreamed of a blanket. It had a face. I didn't mean to. Intent is irrelevant, he says. Dream adjacency is a strict liability offense. Your subconscious is now classified as fuzz inclined. Is that bad? He shrugs. You'll need to register, take the pledge, attend a fuzz-free future seminar. No sleeping within 12 feet of any woven mammal representation for 6 months. You stare. That's it? Unless you'd prefer the tribunal. Your silence is apparently an answer. He scribbles on a form, hands it over. It's a certificate. Temporary clearance. Fuzz-tainted dreamer. Class B restrictions. No stuffed animals. No cozy blankets with eyes. No bedtime alpaca imagery of any kind. You sign. Cuddlington nods, pulls out a pamphlet. Here's a list of approved blankets, mostly geometric shapes and emotional neutrality. Try the Regret Beige collection, surprisingly soft. You take it, numb. He walks you out through a different hallway. You pass others, a teenager in a poncho sobbing into a plush sheep. An old woman arguing with a goat-shaped pillow that claims to be her husband. A man clutching a dream journal covered in hay. You're not the only one. Cuddlington stops at the exit, hands you a small pin. Wear this while sleeping. If the dreams get fuzzy again, it'll hum. You glance at it. A simple silver alpaca with a red X. This is real, you say. All of this. It's actually happening. He nods. Sleep's the last frontier. We can't afford chaos under the covers. You step outside. The world is bright, unnaturally so. You check your phone. It's only been 20 minutes, but it feels like days. As you walk back toward the cabin, something heavy settles on your shoulders. Not fear, not even confusion. Just the quiet certainty that your dreams are no longer your own. You don't remember falling asleep, only that the dream felt real. A kind of real that pressed itself into your skin like fresh grass and left warmth behind your eyes. When you wake up, it's nearly noon. The sun slices through the curtains with unnecessary confidence, like it knows something you don't. The alpaca blanket is still wrapped around you, quiet, heavy, content. No whispering, no blinking. For now, you sit up slowly, expecting to feel different. Cursed, branded. But no, just rested. Deeply, strangely rested. Then you hear it. That knock. Not soft this time. Not subtle. It's a 3-part government-grade knock. Efficient, flat, final. You stand. your body already bracing. At the door stands Agent Cuddlington. His expression is somewhere between disappointed and vindicated, clipboard in hand, a badge now clipped to both lapels like he's compensating for something internal. "Morning," he says flatly. You say nothing. He holds up a sheet of paper, the edges still warm from a printer that clearly runs on pettiness. Our dream signal logs recorded high levels of ungulate interaction last night. Full herd presence. You were observed grazing, with deliberate emotional engagement. "It was just a dream," you murmur. "That's never true," he says, stepping past you into the room. He walks straight to the bed, pokes the blanket with the retractable pen. "You use this again?" You nod. He sighs. "Violation of the pledge. Breach of Class B dreaming terms. This blanket was supposed to remain quarantined." "I didn't invite the dream," you say. "It invited me." He clicks his pen. "You've been marked for relocation." The words hit harder than you expect, not because you don't see it coming, but because the finality in his voice makes it sound like exile. Relocation? To a fuzz-neutral jurisdiction. No woven mammals, no embroidered livestock. You'll be reassigned to Dream Zone 3, Synthetic Bedding District. You blink. Is that even a real place? Of course. Plastic sheets, cold lighting, alarm clocks that file reports. You try to laugh. You fail. "I'd rather be on trial," he offers. Again? Your subconscious has already declared war on bedding protocol. You turn to the window. Outside, a truck idles in the driveway. Plain, gray, government slick. The kind of vehicle that doesn't allow radios or snack breaks. How long? Indefinite. Unless you complete rehabilitation through the Dream Compliance Center. But let's be honest, you're not really the reform sleeper type. You run a hand through your hair. "Can I take anything?" Only regulation-approved sleep gear, your toothbrush, a neutral sleep journal if it hasn't been doodled on, and one emotional object, assuming it's not textured. You reach into your pocket, the wooden alpaca from the forest gathering. He sees it, doesn't say anything. "It's carved," you offer, "not woven." He hesitates. "Fine," he mutters. "But if it hums, it goes." You nod. He steps aside to let you pack. You grab the basics, your phone, your hoodie. The journal with all your half-written dreams in fuzzy corners that technically make it contraband, but you slide it in anyway. And the blanket. You fold it gently. Hold it close. Then, at the last moment, you stuff it into your backpack, hidden. Cuddlington sees it, doesn't stop you. Maybe he's tired too. Maybe he once snuck something soft past protocol and paid the price. As you approach the truck, the driver doesn't look up, just opens the door with military timing. You glance back one last time. The cabin looks smaller now, emptier. You think of the gathering in the woods, the whispered stories, the soft revolution of dreamers who refuse to sleep by someone else's rules. And you wonder, was that real? Or just a dream the blanket gave you to make everything feel better? Then again, what's the difference? You climb in. The door shuts. The engine hums like it's been doing this for decades. And as the truck pulls away from the trees, the cabin, and the flickering warmth of what you might have called home, you feel something stir in your backpack. A small rhythmic purring. The blanket, muffled but alive. Still with you, still warm, still forbidden. You let it be. Close your eyes. And drift. Because if this is exile, you might as well make it soft. You don't wake up the same. The sun is out, yes, and the cabin looks just as it did when you arrived. But something in the air is different, lighter, Like the gravity here's made a quiet compromise with your spine. You stretch. The alpaca blanket is still wrapped around you, gently purring. Yes, purring. You don't question it. You walk to the mirror, and for a second, your reflection flickers. Not in a horror movie way, but like your dream self is still negotiating its exit. You look softer, more rested than you have in weeks, months. You blink, and it's just you again. But the memory of that dream, the green meadows, the herd, the wooden alpaca now warm in your pocket, feels more vivid than waking life. Then comes the knock, the familiar tap tap, which now sounds more annoyed than mysterious. You sigh, rise, and open the door. Agent Cuddlington stands there, not smiling, clipboard in hand, lips pursed like he's tasted something too cozy. You violated the pledge. You nod, calm. I did. We have dream readings confirming an entire herd present in your REM phase. You were observed, grazing. With intent, you consider it. That sounds about right. And you used unauthorized bedding. You pull the blanket tighter around your shoulders. It used me. He doesn't respond right away. Instead, he pulls out a form, starts reading. Per Clause 12F of the Dream Integrity Statute, any fuzz-inclined citizen who resumes restricted sleep behaviors within the grace period shall be... You raise a hand. Let's skip to the part where you tell me I have to leave. Cuddlington looks up, surprised. Yes? Well, that's accurate. Banishment? Relocation to a non-cohabitation jurisdiction, one with stricter bedtime zoning. No alpacas? No mammals of any kind, he says. We recommend cacti. You look past him, toward the road. There's already a truck waiting, engine running. You nod. Turn back inside, pack a small bag, slip the wooden alpaca into the front pocket. You hesitate at the blanket. Cuddlington is watching. You take it anyway. He sighs. You know that counts as smuggling. I'm aware. As you walk toward the truck, he follows. The driver doesn't look up, just opens the door. You turn to Cuddlington one last time. Can I ask you something? He blinks. Go on. Do you sleep well? He doesn't answer, but the corner of his mouth twitches, like maybe he did once, a long time ago. The door closes. The truck pulls away. The trees blur past. The air feels cleaner now, less filtered, more honest. You lean your head against the window, alpaca blanket over your lap. You think about all the people back at the clearing, the whispered stories, the rebellion, if you can call it that, fought in hammocks and dreams. They're still out there, dreaming freely, illegally. And now, so are you. Maybe you'll find a new home, one where the laws don't care what you dream about, one where alpacas aren't just tolerated, but welcome. You close your eyes and smile. The blanket hums softly, and in the quiet of the moving truck, with the road stretching out ahead and the mountains behind, you finally sleep. Not like someone afraid of being caught, but like someone who has nothing left to lose and everything warm to gain. So, that's the bedtime journey tonight. You, a sleepy traveler, just trying to nap peacefully, only to get tangled in the bureaucratic web of livestock law, bedtime surveillance, and a government agent named Cuddlington who probably hasn't hugged anything soft since 1994. But somehow, you made it. Through the regulations, through the whispering blankets, through the surreal forest of unofficial dreamers. And now, as you rest wherever you are, in bed, on the couch, maybe even under a suspiciously fluffy throw, you carry a truth the law can't erase. You earned your rest. You stared down the absurd. You embraced the forbidden fuzz. And whether or not you ever sleep with an alpaca again, you'll always know what it means to protect your right to dream soft. So tonight, let your thoughts wander, let your limbs go heavy, and if you hear a little whisper from under the blanket, don't worry. That's probably just the alpaca saying, "Thanks for believing." Sleep well, rebel dreamer. End of script. Sweet dreams.